Getfund is the lifeline to many institutions in Ghana.
In fact, if you remove the Getfund projects out of this land, the land will fit for a football field.
Without the Getfund, I don't think we would have been able to start the university in September.
Getfund, the engine for the delivery of strategic facilities for the education of the citizenry nationwide, reaching into every corner of the land, bringing dreams of quality education closer to the people, and opening up possibilities of a better future for Ghana and her citizenry. By the Getfund Act 581 of 2000, funding was to become available for the smooth operation of projects and programs of the Getfund. With the quantum of allocations that went to the tertiary sector year on year, one could almost be forgiven for saying that the Act of 2000 had a soft spot for tertiary education.
The tertiary sector in Ghana comprises all your 10 polytechnics. It includes the public sector universities. There were 6. 2 more have been added, making it 8. It includes the colleges of education, and there are 38 of them. It includes Ghana Institute of Journalism and the Ghana Institute of Languages, and JIMPA. These are the tertiary level institutions. And the main challenges in many of these tertiary level institutions is just infrastructure. Many of the University of Ghana, for example, could take double the number they are taking now. But that is not possible because the infrastructure available is inadequate. In any of our public universities, they are all taking less than they could take because of problems of infrastructure. The Getfund board, over the years, before and having addressing this infrastructure deficit in the tertiary sector, there is some significant improvement in terms of providing facilities. We are adding on to what has been done in the universities. But our relationship with the tertiary sector is that the allocation is made by us. We take to Parliament approves. Then the tertiary sector leadership, the vice chancellors, directors, they themselves will then decide what kind of infrastructure to provide. And they've been doing that very well. They focus on providing classroom infrastructure. Dormitories we don't do quite, but the thing is they leave the private sector to provide the hostels. They use our resources to provide infrastructure that's more directly related to teaching and learning, which means classrooms and lecture halls and equipment for science and other things.
Getfund has even gone to the extent of providing computers in most of our laboratories that we are using. So it is just, if you like, something that we were expecting, and for that matter, any other student that has come in terms with Getfund would say that Getfund has improved upon our lives.
In the past couple of years, we focused more as a board of trustees to provide infrastructure for the University for Development Studies. Because when it started, there was hardly anything to start with. And yet they have 3 campuses. One is in Tamale, one is in Bolga, and one is in Uwa. So the Getfund has tried to, before this board, the 2 previous boards did very well to provide infrastructure. But it's like a flash in the pan, given the numbers that they are admitting. So we are focusing, trying to do more for those. The next challenge is to do more for the University of Health and Allied Sciences based in Ho, with a campus in Hawaii, and then the University of Energy and Natural Resources, which is based in Sunyani, with a campus in Doma. So all of these come with infrastructure challenges, and we're trying to provide the requisite in phases. Fortunately, not all the schools and faculties will come at the same time. So we will be providing resources for infrastructure as and when the faculties mature and get mounted. So we're doing all of that.
They have renovated several bungalows for also other key staff. They're also doing some renovation work on some of the classrooms, etc., for lectures.
So we're not just providing brick and mortar in the university, we're also helping to train faculty, the lecturers, because a university is no university, a tertiary institute, no tertiary institute, unless you have the requisite lecturers or members of faculty. Especially now that the National Council for Tertiary Education, which is the regulatory body, insists that if you are teaching in a university setting with an MPhil or an MBA or an MA or MSc, within a requisite period, probably about 5 years, you need to move from that to get a PhD. Otherwise, you will lose your job. So there's a lot of pressure to try and help people to try and move from an MPhil degree to a PhD. And it costs to do that. In terms of the cost of the research and the training of the people to do the research. So we're providing that again for the tertiary sector.
Since May 2009, the Ghana Education Trust Fund, Getfund, under a revamped Board of Trustees, has brought new and stronger direction to the fund, injected vim and vigor into the operations of the fund nationwide, and ensured aggressive and sustained delivery of top-rate facilities for the education of the citizenry of Ghana. At the tertiary level, there can be little question, if any at all, as to the quantum of investment and infrastructure delivery on the campuses nationwide these last few years. Worldwide recognition that good tertiary education as a follow-up to solid basic and secondary and technical education is a major driver of economic competitiveness in any increasingly knowledge-driven global economy makes high-quality tertiary education more important than ever before. This, the government of Ghana more than recognizes, and ensuring that strategic visionary educational interventions are matched with a matching commitment and sacrifice that make speedy delivery of works and facilities possible for the prompt enjoyment of eager students and staff of our institutes of higher learning.
St. Francis is an old institution, and our buildings were so dilapidated that if you had come here at that time before Getfund came in, you would have seen it as an ancient institution, maybe comparable to Timbuktu.
The quality is in two parts, the old Bosco and then the new Bosco. So the old Bosco had very dilapidated buildings that were started by the church. In 1998, the AASL even ruled off some of the bungalows that they were death traps and that the quality should not use them.
Life was not too good. We do not have enough lecture halls, as you have seen.
The college has really suffered in terms of renovation when I got admission to this college. And students must struggle with academic work, especially with the classrooms, because we suffered bad accommodation on campus.
Before I came to Bosco's, what I realized was that the hostels, that is where the students stay, it was just nothing to write home about. If you enter the hostels, there are no fans inside. So anytime it is around March to April, and possible, and at times even May, the weather is always very hot, and students will have to move their mattresses from their various hostels and sleep outside.
Some of the books that were in the library, for instance, weren't enough as in research-wise. The lecture rooms were congested, and we were impoverished in various aspects on campus.
We are very disadvantaged as far as infrastructure is concerned. Students have been going here and there. There are the various schools around. We go to even learn over there during our leisure periods because we don't have the facilities. During our examinations, we have to be looking for places to write exams because the facilities are not there.
chaotic because students didn't get enough rooms to study for exams and all that. And so you come for a lecture very late and you have to stand outside. But with the intervention, there are infrastructure everywhere. We have good seats to sit on. We have enough lecturers to teach us. And education basically is very comfortable.
Currently, we have a 4-story block. We also have constructed a road. In fact, the very first road in this school. And then we also have the supply of vehicles and then some machinery for the school.
We've benefited a lot from Getfund activities, projects, and other interventions. If you get to our campus, you will see that we've had a very nice library complex.
We are getting a teachers' flats, 9 units, which is almost 90-something percent. Because it's left with electrical connection and then painting and handing over.
We have seen tremendous improvement in the form of rehabilitation of tutors' bungalows and our assembly hall, which was in fact written off. There was a time people said it should be broken down because it was a death trap. But through Getfund, you can see it as a very magnificent mansion there.
Getfund initiated the project of renovating the dormitories and the seniors block on campus.
Most of these institutions initially do not have this infrastructure. But for the intervention of Getfund, we have it.
My school IPS, for instance, have benefited from Getfund. We have an infrastructure which is yet to be completed, almost completed by the Getfund.
As a student, it has really helped me because when I came here in first year, the infrastructure here wasn't really helping. We had students sitting outside and not really getting access into the classrooms. But now there are lecture halls available and we have extra lecture halls for extracurricular activities on campus. It's really helping.
Getfund came to our rescue and we now have this modern edifice. It's just unfortunate I could not send you to where we used to have one of our labs, together with the library. And for now, we are saying that when the 8-unit accommodation is completed, it will be a very, very, very big relief to us. Because currently, here in St. Joseph's, we share rooms. We don't share bungalows. So you can imagine the kind of relief we will have when the structure is completed.
The Getfund has ensured that all over the country, scores of viable but ailing projects for the education of the citizenry have been resuscitated through the fund and given the befitting finishes that would also make them memorable institutes of learning and to the betterment of the people of Ghana. The Getfund is not only funding the construction of buildings, it is furnishing them with computers, books and other equipment as appropriate or as may become necessary to make them immediately useful to staff and students of our educational institutions across the country. Copiously, new buses have gone out to institutes and departments at the tertiary level to make life on campus easier for students and staff. Modern ICT labs have been built on tertiary school campuses across the country and ICT tools copiously provided. Modern libraries are being built and furnished with modern books and facilities. Investments that are making teaching and learning a really great experience on tertiary level campuses across the country.